Hi students, are you ready to learn a new lesson? Who is there sleeping? Is it Suryadev or is it Pranav or Niharika? Sit straight children and listen carefully. Let us learn the second part, The Black Aeroplane, written by Frederick Forth. To speak about Frederick, he is from England. He had done his education from Spain. He was actually a jet pilot. Here he has narrated one of his experiences. This is an autobiographical story. When you hear about black aeroplane, you might feel something negative. Listen to children. Through this lesson, Frederick reflects on how one's judgment gets distorted due to fantasizing and how it creates problems. In this chapter, the narrator who is eager to meet his family to have a good breakfast, that he takes the wrong decision of facing the storm instead of doing the right thing. Let us move to the first paragraph. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France, back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control, Dakota DS-088. There. Here, can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS-088, I can hear you. You are to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-088, over. Explanation. Where he is going to, children? He was flying over France to England. It was night time. The sky was clear and stars could be seen twinkling. The pilot felt peace. Why? Because he was going above a country that had fallen asleep. It was 1:30 in the morning, and he was fantasizing about holidaying with his family. When the aeroplane was in France, the pilot thought of informing the Paris control personnel about his presence and for instruction. At that time, light from the Paris city was blaring at him. He informed the control agency. They replied with further instruction. They instructed him to turn 12 degrees towards the west. Next paragraph. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank, turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. I'll be in time for breakfast, I thought. A big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds. Storm clouds. They were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them, and did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I will take the risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. Explanation. After receiving the instruction, he geared up, putting the last fuel tank into operation. All this time, he was dreaming about his time with the family. And then he started thinking about having a satisfactory breakfast with his family. He was calm because as everything was going as he planned. Now the plane had crossed Paris. He started seeing clouds and he realized that it was unsafe to travel because there were chances of a storm. All of a sudden, storm clouds came. He had two options, either to fly through the storm or to fly back to Paris. He had seen huge clouds, huge storm clouds, and he compared that with the black mountains. He realized that he couldn't pass through it, as it was impossible to go about with the fuel left in his tank. But he desperately wanted to be with his family and have that English breakfast that he had been dreaming of, so he ventured to take the risk. Inside the clouds, everything was black. Nothing was visible outside the plane. He started losing the control of the aeroplane. The compass and other instruments had stopped working because of the bad weather. He became helpless. Next paragraph. Continuation of the same paragraph. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round. It was dead. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Then in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another plane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. Follow me, he was saying. Follow me. He knows that I am lost. I thought he is trying to help me. Explanation. He tried calling the Paris control personnel who had helped him earlier, but he couldn't connect because of the bad weather. He was in the midst of nowhere. That time he saw another aeroplane. He had a ray of hope. He felt relieved or laxed because the man in that aeroplane, the pilot, he told him to follow him. He thought to himself, the other pilot is very kind, as he knew that he was lost. Next paragraph. He turned his aeroplane slowly to the north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now, there was only enough fuel in my old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again, but then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Suddenly I came out of the clouds and I saw two long straight lines of lights in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for any friend in the black aeroplane. But the sky was empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. Another aeroplane up there in the storm? No other aeroplane was flying tonight. Yours was only one I could see on the radar. So, who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio? And without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? Explanation. The other pilot took his plane ahead of the lost aeroplane to make it easier to follow him. Like an obedient child, he followed him. He was panicking because there was very little amount of fuel left in his tank. It was only then that he started coming out of the storm and could see the runway to land his plane safely. When he turned to thank the other pilot, he realized that the plane helped him had disappeared when he came out of the storm. The meaning of the word radar: a system for detecting the presence, direction, distance of aircraft, ships, etc. The author didn't know where he had landed, but was not scared of leaving his plane unattended. He headed straight into the control room and asked about the other pilot. To his utmost surprise, the lady informed him that there was no other plane in the sky except his because of the bad weather. He is left astonished or astounded with a lot of questions, unanswered questions in his mind. This is the end of this lesson. Thank you and bye.